Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you again so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look here at ICP, see what's going on. This coin, above all else, has been doing pretty well, contrary to the rest of the market. So the truth is, while we are retracing and most of the market's pulling back, this coin is seeing the least amount of retracement so far. All right, doesn't mean we just jump blindly into a long position. It just implies that we have potential for pivot here, potential bounce, but we want to confirm and verify a few other things before we do that. So let's take a look at ICP and kind of see where we're at with liquidation and go from there. Quick congrats to our committee here too. Thank you again for the awesome feedback. We're looking at 22.5% for an AVAX short we took yesterday. And on Friday, we took Bitcoin short about 32%. So good stuff there. We did have to close an Ethereum long because we lost our support at 2660. Glad we did because now it is dumping pretty hard. So again, sometimes that happens. We had a bullish pennant pattern, almost hit our targets, and it's just the way it goes, okay? So try not to cry over spilt milk, as they say. Let's take a look here at ICP and double check and see roughly what we're looking at. So the quick understanding here is there's more liquidation on the downside than the upside. That does incentivize the price to go down further, but it also tells us there's more support there too, because people feel like it's a good place worth taking a long. Keep in mind, I'd much rather trust liquidation getting swept than I would the inverse of it being a support level, mainly because people using this high of leverage are typically those other idiots, or more importantly, sorry, no offense if you are one of those persons, but more people following those other dumb people online that pretty much recommend 50 to 100x to 150x leverage trades. They're just getting destroyed left and right. So these are high leverage trades that probably entered the market within the last 24 hours, and they're about to get swept. Okay, so again, not saying it's dumb to do that. If you use like a very small dollar amount, it's okay. But if you're literally just high leveraging everything, you got a lot to learn, okay? And again, it's okay that you do that. So again, there's no discredit, just please understand there's a time and place for it. If you're a professional trader, professional traders don't do that, okay? Again, I've been doing this for 20 years. I can tell you I've tried a lot of different scenarios, and low leverage, low position size is king, okay? Speaking of which, do you want to high leverage or low leverage on this coin? Well, the truth is most coins right now are running to the downside, so it would make sense to consider shorting most coins. Okay, now again, we don't just short the bottom because it feels like we're getting close, but we're also seeing a dead cat from Bitcoin right now. It's pulling back as well, so we could see this level here at about 670 get swept. Okay, so keep in mind 670 is that next area of retracement. There's a lot more liquidation on the downside than the upside here. Again, more incentive for the price to pull back. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen, right? A lot of factors need to take place. And so far, we're honoring this Elliott wave here as long as we stay above the 780, 790 mark, okay? Again, we have potential for the price to continue further up as a result of this if we stay in this range or don't go any lower, okay? So me personally, I'm going to be paying attention to this descending trend. If we break free from the descending trend line, it might be worth taking along. Let's take a look at the daily time frame though and kind of just look at everything because that's what a good trader is going to do, right? We're going to make sure to evaluate a few things, not just get stuck on one theory. Again, I like to emphasize that because a lot of folks come over to my community and like MCO, for example, there's a handful of other communities I think that are out there. Nothing wrong with that. They're probably pretty good. But the truth is, if you're only using one theory, I think you're doing it wrong. While Fibonacci is a very strong and important foundation of trading, I use it day in and day out, it shouldn't be your only premise to trading. Okay, you want to look at everything. That's why we kind of get a big perspective on things. That's why we're here. Okay, now to touch on everything, just to clarify, the $670 mark, where all the liquidation is at, there's a ton of control here at 720. So I think there's a very low probability ICP will go to that level unless Bitcoin runs towards 61K. Which is kind of doing that right now, but it's not necessarily running, it's more so just kind of slowly bleeding out, along with the rest of the market too. So having said that, if we look at the daily, we're under the 50-day SMA and we're above the 20. This is kind of unique. It's usually the opposite when you are in a good scenario here. In other words, you want to be over the 50 versus the 20. But in this case, now that we've dropped below that, we got to respect that that will potentially be a resistance for us. So 830, 840. Might be the new key level there to pay attention to. So if you take a long, secure profits, don't get crazy and try to take this to the moon or whatever. If anybody uses the term moon in their description for their videos or just in general that what the coin is going to do, you probably shouldn't trust them. That's like a good little indication there. Again, the reason why I say that is because truth is most coins right now, while they have ran, they're suffering. Bitcoin dominance is up 57%, folks. Like this is super, super high. It keeps going up and up. So again, pay attention and recognize that alts are not really the they're not the bee's knees right now, okay? So taking any coin to the moon makes no sense at all, including Bitcoin. Okay, so take a look. MACD is diverging, stochastic pulling back while we maintain above 50, and this is like the last line of defense. There's not a lot here on the daily telling us that this coin's going to take off. Now, when I looked at this yesterday, we were talking about this being a potential pivot point, right? And if you look here, we kind of zoom in, we're essentially creating a double bottom here in a lot of ways, right? Now, again, double bottoms have a tendency of playing out pretty high success, but that's under the impression the market's doing well and Bitcoin isn't suppressing the price action, okay? So you got to recognize that. And this isn't necessarily a clean double bottom either. It's kind of a falling type of wedge, honestly, which do have a tendency of breaking upwards as well, right? There's a lot of little scenarios that you could kind of unfold here, but the truth is we're under 50 on the RSI. You generally don't like to trade into that. Stochastic RSI is pulling back for the second time, carries more weight than the first, and MACD is still diverging. With us being below the 20-day SMA, that's kind of the firm indication that you don't want to take a position, mainly because this is like the indicator of, breaking a trend to a trend reversal. Okay, so again, while we can draw out a trend line in many ways, right? There's no doubt that we're not in a situation right now where the price action is establishing higher highs and higher lows. All the more reason not to take a long in the blind. Okay, now I know a lot of folks will do that and they'll have some success. They're going to share that success and they're going to act as if that is how it works. Truth is, you continue to do that over time, you're going to find that that's a recipe for disaster, because trading only support levels or points of control is unilateral. Again, just like using Elliott Wave, for example, as your only indication of taking a trade. So when I look at all this here and I'm kind of trying to analyze and figure out what's going on next, to me, the initial trend setter is establishing basically higher highs and higher lows, right? We need to break this initial trend. We need to get above that level. We need to be up above the Ichimoku cloud in a very, in all sense of the word, because even though the lagging span is getting closer to the price action, that's usually a good sign to close your short position if you have one open. The baseline and the conversion line are not intersecting. That's still below. That tells us we have good momentum on the downside and we're not above the cloud yet, okay? So me personally, I'm going to be looking for in X above this level. I want an 840 or higher closure before I feel comfortable taking a trade here. I know it seems crazy, right? Why take a long at this level when you could take one right here? It's just weird, right? But there's a difference there, folks. The trend is established at this point where it's not established here. As far as a long, right? The short trend is established. It's short trading, short selling, whatever you call it. It's all pulling down. It's all looking like it wants to go down. This in combination with Bitcoin looking like a complete disaster makes no sense to take a trade right now, okay? So again, pump the brakes, folks. It's okay to not trade for a day. My goodness, I mean, I cannot believe how many addicts join my community. Again, no offense to you if you are. There's nothing wrong with that per se, but if you are just addicted to being in a trade at all times, you can't sleep or breathe without having to be, risking your portfolio at every given moment, I think you got a lot to learn. Make sure you read through watch through my university videos. These are all available here for my members. Please make sure you reference that and at least learn what you can while you're there, okay? Again, it's all there for you, and I want to try to be here for you too, however possible, but you can't fix addiction. You can't fix, those who are really, really dead set on gambling. It's just not the right mentality. Anyways, I'll tighten up our fib levels here and our charts. I'll make sure to post this on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Future reference, it looks a little something like this, and just kind of give you perspective on where I think coins are going next. Okay, so that's all there for you too. I appreciate you watching and hopefully learning some things. If you want to comment below, great. Please hit the like button, get this in front of more people, and help put a stop to those moon boys one good video at a time. Thanks again, folks. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.